Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and today I'm taking a look at what appears to be the first mass-production unofficial Ninja Turtles figure. Coming from first Gokin, this is NT-01 Cerebral, a large half-naked robot man in underpants with a living brain in his belly. I have never had a toy of such a thing, despite pining for one as a child, so I wanted to see what a modern, not-for-children collectible version would be like. And he comes in a sturdy coffin of heavy card and foam that leads the experience off with some high-end appeal. I could have documented the entire opening process, but some things you've gotta save for yourself, man. Packaging is quickly forgotten once eyes are laid upon the incredible pink mush of Cerebral's organic body. This is the most Krang-like Krang that's ever kranged like an 80s Krang, at least in my limited Ninja Turtles toy experience. His facial expression is so friggin' good. The paintwork on his eyes and teeth is really clean, but has also been greatly enhanced by the gentle shading and highlighting of all the wrinkly pink on this tyrannical meatball. And he's kinda squishy. And his tentacles are connected by ball socket joints, which in turn lead to a single hinge for extra gesticulation. Anyway, his ride is 10 inches of robotic muscle mass with a powerfully modernized sculpt that plays down the fatness and plays up the cyborg killing machine-ness. The silhouette is towering, and the sculpt is really sharp, with every potentially smooth surface covered in some kind of technological paneling inventing. It's also hefty, as the shoulder pads and feet are made of die-cast metal. The flesh-toned mass of the robot body has a flat matte finish, with some soft gradient shading throughout, while all the armor and extra bits have got super shiny metallic paint, creating a simple and solid tonal contrast. Everything's crisp and gorgeous, making me kinda sad at the number of unpainted pieces of surface detail on the flesh-tone sections. That level of visual flair extends inwards as the cockpit section is tray shiny and mechanical. And if you pop a pair of LR44s into the figure's back, you can flip a tiny switch and turn on a lovely blue LED to illuminate the entire cavity. This looks incredible, and sadly the effect is almost entirely diminished when you actually set Cerebral inside. He blocks the light from reaching many lower areas of the cockpit and makes me wonder if a reflectively shiny silver paint in there would make a difference. By the way, Cerebral has a magnet in him to help him sit solidly inside of his robot suit, and it's kind of unnecessary. Like, he has no room to slide around in there, but hey, magnets are cool, and I'm not gonna argue. Not gonna eat one either. Don't eat magnets. There are 2 axe head accessories included in the box, and they are dead simple to install. Pop a hand off and pop an axe on. Both axes are identical, so follow your heart and decide whether you want one on the left or right sides, or if you want to go akimbo lumberjack style with Cerebral's melee capabilities. The sockets are all slightly flexible, providing a very safe and comfortable insertion or expulsion experience for the user. So this guy is constructed out of like die-cast parts, hard plastic parts, and then like the stuff that I wouldn't call squishy, but like a thick, pliable plastic appears throughout this guy, which I wonder whether or not it is some kind of materials homage to just Ninja Turtles toys in general. I'm probably overthinking this. Anyway, that is a very major part of this guy's construction. Like, you know, these big steel suspender things are a somewhat flexible material. These are probably PVC, but like the joints inside his elbows and stuff, like just like, you know, his whole head is a solid squishy piece. It feels very materials homage to me. Whether or not that was intentional, congratulations. Anyway, posability-wise, this guy's head is on a ball joint. It's unfortunately one of those setups where when you tilt the head, it kind of curves sideways as it looks left and right. There is a joint for him to look up, and like you can see the track for it under there, but this is as far down as it goes. I really wish that track went farther down his throat, because I feel like he's always looking straight ahead, and this thing is so huge, I think it's a bit of a shame he can't just look down, you know, with his head as opposed to like his entire body. Anyway, his shoulder pads are attached via very simple ball joints, kind of unable to hold up the entire weight of the die-cast chunk for long periods of time, but it's just to get them out of the way of what's going on. The shoulder joints are universal big-ass pin discs, big flexible-ish pin discs that go out about this far. Full forward and backwards motion. There is a bicep swivel working with the sculpt of the musculature, the robomusculature. There's a double-jointed elbow here, although it's mostly just to get this, like, 92-degree bend, because there's all this chunk everywhere. I think it does a good job of doing it. Like, it looks great, bulbous and cartoony, but it's not like a full curl, if that's what you're looking for. Due to the fact that these connect via ball joints, the hands can swivel left and right, and they have, like, a bit of play, but not enough that I'd call it, like, a whole extra axis of motion. The hands themselves, the fingers on these hands, are weird, and for me, kind of disappointing. When I saw photos of this guy, I assumed, number one, I didn't think that would happen, but I assumed that these were like all hinged posable fingers. As it turns out, all 5 fingers, the thumb as well, they're all just a single flexible piece connected via a ball joint, so the thumb can like move around like this, which is kind of pointless. And then you can see there's a cut here in the knuckle for the fingers to bend about that far. But when they're out like this far, they don't really look open or closed, and if you move them all as far in as they go, they still don't really look open or closed, so he just kind of goes from sort of squishing an invisible ball to sort of squishing a bigger invisible ball. And I just feel like it's an interesting idea that I don't think really accomplished anything it was setting out to do. And on this hand, I actually had a big trouble where the way that the hard pieces of the palm were sandwiched together, they pinched around one of these fingers, and I couldn't move it. And I tried moving it, I started to tear the rubbery plastic. I was able to use a boil and pop to get it out of there and plug it back in, but be aware of these fingers. They, I don't know if you can even see the ripping in there, but this one was jammed, sandwiched, like squished and pinched between 2 pieces of hard plastic. Anyway, up here in the torso, it looks like he's trying to have an ab crunch of some sort, but this is the entire range of it. With or without the suspenders, this is the whole range. Again, I don't think this is a joint, I think this is just some happenstance motion, because this is also where the tunnel for the light is running through. Like, this, the light gimmick is like a stick sticking up here, and this thing's plopped down over top, and there's just a bit of give in there. I don't feel comfortable saying this is a full point of articulation. I do feel comfortable saying this is a full point of articulation, because this is just glorious, this waist swivel. I love that part. His hips are limited. They're a universal joint, but they go about this far forward, that far back. So, like, basically, ignoring that squeak, there's a very soft detent by which they can go 1 click forward or 1 click back from a base click in the middle. 3 clicks total. I really wish there was some mechanism of, like, pulling this thing out to get a bit more range without messing with the sculpt, because the sculpt looks great in there, but as far as leg posability, he can't kick people, he just kind of can take steps. And this is not the worst thing in the world. I was just surprised by that. Like, this product felt like something in all the photos, and when I pulled him out of the box, felt like something that would have, like, hinged fingers and, like, cool engineering to get his hips to, you know, Super Robot Gokin-esque stuff or fig art stuff to, you know, come down and move forward a bit more. None of that is there. There is a thigh swivel, and there is a double-jointed knee. Once again, it's not really for a full, like, acrobatic curl. It's so that these gigantic thighs and shin chunks can just have a nice, natural, and again, like, bulbously cartoony bend. I do like how this part turned out. The ankles are a ball joint connection, so there's that much wiggle. It's just enough to give him a solid standing base, not quite enough for him to go extreme in his posing. And then finally there is a mid-toe style joint, and when I say style I mean literally a toe, so you can have him like walking. And the story of this guy's posability is basically he's not super posable. He's pretty posable. In the context of a Ninja Turtles piece, he's quite posable. In the shape of his body, he's decently posable. I just felt for the price tag, I was hoping for something clever and unexpected in the posability, and instead it's very by the book. Every point that feels like aesthetically it could be limited by just the style of this guy's design, those points are limited. So this thing looms, this thing marches, and sort of reaches for stuff, it lumbers, and that is about the height of its expressiveness as a posable piece. Cerebral's a strange bird of a high-end unofficial Dimension X overlord. I love his height and presentation, with the best-looking Krang sculpt I have ever seen being a major highlight of the package for me. The robot suit takes a lot of modernized liberties in its aesthetics, leaning more towards the neo-classics approach found in current Transformers, rather than a slavish delivery of either the cartoon or toy designs of the 1980s. And I'm way into that. I guess I just wish that with this guy clocking in around $120 upon his release, there was just a touch more thoughtfulness to his engineering. I don't need him to be acrobatic, but I was really surprised to not see some kind of pull-out mechanism to increase the range of his hips. And while I feel the potential homage of the rubbery fingers is cool in concept, I legitimately thought they were hinged posable digits until I got the figure in hand. It's just little things like that which got me frowning a bit at Cerebral after spending a few days messing around with him. However, in the context of Ninja Turtles toys, he hits a ton of marks, and barring some kind of enormous priority shift and staff change at Playmates, he'll probably be the most finely crafted Collector Krang figure to be released in the foreseeable future. Most all of my issues with the toy are on a basic and perhaps slightly greedy level. As a Ninja Turtles display piece, Cerebral is a badass debut for first Gokin in this niche. I just hope that if they do deliver a shredder of some kind, he has the deeper levels of poseability that I'm looking for. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and I hope this video has helped you in your own interdimensional ponderings about tentacle brains and the robot suits that they occupy. And if you're a Turtles collector, fresh and new to the idea of unofficial and vaguely legal collector product from third-party companies, let the wonder of the situation stay with you as long as you can. When the cynicism of expectation erases it, it's like a childhood disappearing all over again.